I get so many students who come to me and say, I need more leads. The problem with that is that's a really vague statement. Like, how many is more? Like, in what time period, at what frequency? There's no context. Second thing is, why is the focus on leads? More leads actually isn't an outcome, it's an input. You do not need more leads if you aren't clear on what more leads actually looks like. If you're getting leads that aren't quality, then you have a marketing and a messaging issue. Fix your tracking metrics. Again, do you actually need more clients? Because more clients is going to equal more work for you.
Hey coach, Xenia Wood here, and this is the Swift Coaches Academy podcast, created for service-based business owners who are ambitious enough to break free from the forever hustle and create scalable businesses that truly make an impact while also giving us freedom. With more than a decade of experience, we're not here to waste your time on theory. Instead, just sharing what works and what doesn't to help you get clear as fuck on your next move and show you exactly how to implement the systems and strategies that you need to scale with confidence.
Welcome back to another episode. This week's little update is that recently I went and saw Wicked, the musical, which is the Wicked Witch of the West story of like the Green Witch. And I absolutely loved it. I am such a sucker for a good musical. I definitely think Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast were better, but perhaps that was because I'm a little biased. Love a good Disney reenactment, but also I just knew all the songs. So that was awesome. But I think the thing that Wicked taught me is that, or I like reinforced for me, is that perception is everything. And so I went into this, didn't know any of the story of Elphaba, who is the Wicked Witch of the West. And like everyone who watches the Wizard of Oz, you think that the Wicked Witch of the West is evil and she's the nasty one. And it really shone a light on her story, and a little bit of a spoiler alert, but you know, she's actually, I would say that she's the good witch, not Glinda, who is seen as the quote unquote good witch. And it reminds me that perception is everything. And we may perceive, you know, someone or something or ourselves or whatever as good, bad, indifferent, whatever in different times, but we get to control that narrative, and the perception rather than the truth is typically what's shown, which is unfortunate, but also we can use that to our favor to, I guess, showcase the perception of, you know, the authority that we have or what we do and things like that by showcasing results, testimonials, all those sorts of things. So yeah, really cool. Would recommend if anyone gets a chance to see Wicked. And I know that the movie's coming out soon as well. But yeah, it just reminded me of like perceived value, and our worth or perception is actually a really big play on our beliefs. Which doesn't really lead us to today's topic, but I'm going to digress anyway. So we're talking about if you need more leads and how to actually tell if that's the real problem. Because the problem is I get so many students who come to me and say, I need more leads, right? The problem with that is that's a really vague statement. Like, how many is more? Like, in what time period, at what frequency? There's no context around that, firstly. Second thing is, why is the focus on leads? Right? I want to know that you have clarity on leads and not enough of them being the reason why your business is stuck. And a lot of times it's actually not that. And we're going to talk about that today. We're also going to talk about why most people, yeah, like I said, don't actually need more leads. But let's get clear on the outcome first, because more leads actually isn't an outcome, it's an input, right? Like, we put leads into our funnel or our pipeline or what, you know, even if you just put leads into your phone book, that's your funnel. And then the outcome that we want from that might be, you know, more clients on the books or more revenue or more profit. But we need to get clear on the outcome, because leads is an input, right? It is part of the process. It is not the end result. And yes, sometimes leads is the problem. And we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about a story when I first started out, because I thought more leads and more sales was the answer for me too. And when I started out, my second year out, I was working in a big box gym, and the goal that the business owner I was working with had recommended for me was 10 new initial consults every single week. Okay. And so I was like, I can do that. I'm an A grade student. Like, I got this. And so I would do it and I would get 10 new initial consults, 10 new initial consults. And I got to this point where it was like a Saturday at like 2 p.m. and I got an 8 initial consults this week. And I was sort of like nervous because every week I'd be like, oh fuck, I have to talk to someone else. And I'd go to walk up to them and then I'd go and like run away and like pack away all the weights and clean them. And the gym was spotless, but I hadn't talked to my to enough people to get 10 initials booked in. And then I just remember I was standing there being like, Xenia, it is 2 o'clock on a Saturday and you are still fucking here because I know that you are going to do what you said and get the 10 initials, but like, what are you waiting for? Let's go and do it. So I walked up to these people and I gave them some value. And then these 2 guys booked in. And I was like, thank goodness I've got my 10 initials. And then in that moment, I stopped and I was like, why am I getting 10 initials every single week? Right? Like, if you're listening to this, you're probably like, Xenia, I know as a health coach, it probably only takes 4 weeks to get to full capacity because 40 clients is realistically full book for most health coaches. Yet I did this for 52 weeks straight, right? 10 new initials for 52 weeks. That's 520 initial consultations, which is ridiculous, right? And the thing is, I was not tracking the right metrics at all. I thought more leads and turn into more sales conversations and moving them down through that pipeline was going to fix the problem. But the problem for me was not that. And I actually converted most of them. So my sales was good too. My problem was the client journey and I wasn't getting them to renew, to come back, to be consistent, or to upgrade with me, right? But the business owner who I was working for at the time as a subcontractor was telling me, you need 10 initial consults every week, you need 10 initial consults every week. And it wasn't until I sat back and I was like, why am I doing this? That I had to realize that I wasn't getting advice from someone who'd been where I wanted to be. And they were just kind of like giving this advice, being like, yep, more reps will do the trick. And I just realized that I need to make sure I'm tracking the right metrics. I need to then make sure that I have a really solid client process. I need to fix my sales because I was selling people on one session, not selling people on the actual transformation and the full outcome, which they need more sessions with exercise rehab. And I didn't really have a very clear message. I was kind of serving everyone. So while I thought the problem was more leads or getting more people booked in, that wasn't my problem. And maybe that's the same for you. So if you're listening to this today, hopefully this is going to help you to get clear on if more leads is actually the problem or if it's one of our other 4 strategies. Okay. So I've sort of mapped this out and identified that there are 4 things that you need to inspect first and get clarity on to make sure that you actually need more leads and that is the problem rather than one of these other 4 areas. And we're going to go through these 4 in detail today. So if you haven't looked at these 4 things first, then more leads is likely not going to solve your problem. The first one is you do not need more leads if you aren't clear on what more leads actually looks like. So more leads does not actually equal more clients, right? More clients equals more clients, right? More leads does not equal more money. More leads does not equal more profit in your business, right? So let's get clear on when we're coming with these statements or we're thinking or asking these things and say, how do I get more leads? Let's make sure that leads is the problem first. So if you don't actually know the answer to this question, then the first thing that we need to do is fix your tracking metrics. Now, metrics is one of the 9, categories inside our Global Biz Academy program that we talk to and make sure that people are tracking their metrics so that they can determine if leads is actually the problem for them. I want to give you a bit of an insight into that today. So what is it that you actually want? I think is the real question we need to ask, because you may want more profit in your business and more leads may not get you to more profit, right? Like there are so many other ways that we could get there. It could be increasing the cost of clients. It could be decreasing your expenses. It could be looking at what I did the other day, which is subscriptions that you're no longer using and making sure you're deleting those. And that could get you to more profit without you having to go through the heavy lifting of getting more leads and sales conversations and turning them into clients. So it's really important that we know what it is you actually want. Okay. Then when we go, okay, how many more leads in what time frame? I mentioned this before, but are you tracking that? And why have you come to these numbers, right? And if you don't know, then you're kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, as opposed to let's get clear on what those metrics are. So how are you going to know when you've hit your number of leads that you need? Because it has to be based on the outcome that you want. So based on the profit, based on the client numbers, based on the top line revenue, whatever it is that you're trying to get as a result of more leads is what we need to see if that metric is changing. Okay. So this is going to mean you're going to need to track your lead to sales process. I've talked about this a little bit in episodes before. But just briefly, in terms of tracking your lead to sales process, if we're getting, let's say, 10 leads a week come into our pipeline, we are getting, let's say, 5 of those on a sales call, we're getting 4 of those convert, and then like those 4 sign up long term, then the problem isn't actually leads. The problem is getting the leads on the sales call. We can see that the biggest gap or the biggest room for improvement is we started with 10 leads a week and only 5 of them got on a call. So if you said to me, Xenia, I need more leads, and I looked at your data and this is what it showed, then I would say you don't actually need more leads. You need to make sure that you contact your leads and you have a more thorough process to ensure that you're getting quality leads who are committed to booking, to showing up to the call that they booked, or that they've actually got it booked in, or that you've sent a text message reminder. There might be something else in your lead to sales process or pipeline that we actually need to edit before just kind of chucking more leads in the top and then having more people fall out through the sides. Okay. So the first thing is, if you're thinking maybe I need more leads, is first to get clear on those metrics. What does more leads actually look like and what is the outcome so we can reverse engineer it? Let's say we wanted 5 more clients and you know your conversion rate is 50%, then you need 10 sales calls, right? And 10 sales calls, you might actually need 15 leads. And so we work backwards from that to get you to the actual outcome you want, because more leads, like I said before, is not an outcome. Okay. Second thing that I think you should fix or look at first before you say, I need more leads, is if you're getting leads that are currently not ideal clients, right? So if you just get more of them, you're getting more shit quality and you're spending more time, and it's no more efficient for you. It's actually less efficient because you have to do this more, and you're still getting the same outcome in terms of potentially the number of leads that will sign up, but because they're low quality, you're spending so much more time, effort, and energy on more people who probably shouldn't have been put into your pipeline in the first place. And so this is where we need to look at fixing your marketing message. So if we're getting leads in and we're looking at them and we're going, well, like I work with women and 50% of the leads that I'm getting are men, like that's a big problem, right? Because you've just wasted time, effort, and energy on 50% of your leads. Okay. So if you're getting leads that aren't quality, then you have a marketing and a messaging issue. So adding more volume to that just adds more work for you, right? Again, do you actually need more clients? Because more clients is going to equal more work for you. Okay. What if instead you could create a new higher ticket offer that required less leads but got better results, right? And perhaps this comes into adjusting your marketing message and getting clear on who you serve, how you serve them, the pain points. And so people come to you and they're so bought in with what you do because they're like, oh my God, you speak exactly my language. I love this, this, and this about you. And to be honest, I get quite a lot of people who end up signing up to our program who have spend some time listening to this podcast and listening to me talk, because it's really quite apparent once you hear me speak for a while that I'm super straight up. There's no bullshit. I'm not beating around the bush, and I'm going to tell you the hard truths that you need to hear. And the clients who end up working with me are so on board with that message and that ideology and that way of being coached that they come in and they're like, oh my God, yes, you need to be my coach. They've sold themselves on the idea of me because I've given so much value, and I've also interwoven my personality and who I am. And I'm exactly the same if you get me on a call as I am talking on this podcast or in any other form of communication. So my marketing message is consistent across the board. And so when people listen to these things, they get a real taste of who I am, as opposed to me not putting out any marketing message, or me just kind of like going for anyone and everyone and not getting clear on who I serve and not talking to them or trying to serve everyone. Okay. We spoke recently in a previous episode about niching down, and if you're trying to serve everyone, you're serving no one. And so if you're getting poor quality leads or leads that are not your ideal clients, then you have a marketing issue. Adding more leads is not going to fix that problem. Okay. It's going to give you probably more headaches and waste more of your time because you have to spend more time with people who are not your ideal client. And then they end up not signing up anyway, right? Or you turn them away, which is not what we want. Okay. The third thing, if you're thinking, I want more leads, to look at before the leads is your sales conversion rate. Now, this percentage that I'm going to give you is going to depend on whether these are cold leads or warm leads and things like that. So I think that specifically in health, if your sales conversion rate is less than 70%, I think that we want to be looking to improve that. Typically, I talk to people and it's about 80% in the health industry, right? And this is warm leads. This is people who already have some sort of knowledge of you, or you've spoken to them in the past. So if we get cold leads, it's going to drop off a little bit from that as well. But looking for our warm leads, our sales conversion rate should be greater than 70%. So if we added more leads to that, but our sales conversion rate was less than 70%, then we have a gap there. And instead of adding more leads, the focus that we need to fix is our sales process. Okay. So I mentioned before, marketing message, I mentioned metrics, and now sales process. All of these are actually pillars inside of the Biz Academy program. And so we talk through the exact steps to creating a really rigorous sales process from lead to sale to sign up of the client. And so making sure that we're not wasting time, money, effort, or energy on good potential leads if we don't have a great sales process, or and throughout that process, right? We mentioned before the lead to sales process, but when we're on having that sales conversation, we want to look at, are we pre-handling objections so there are no objections or very limited at the end? Are we providing enough value? Are we listening? Are we creating something that feels like it's going to get them the result? Are we building the confidence that we are the person that they absolutely have to work with? And are we helping them see that that is their idea rather than us sort of like shoving information down their throat? There's so much to fixing sales process. And I have a reworking sales call podcast with Sam Harrer. I think it's 63, 61. I was so close, so close. Go back and listen to episode 61 on our sales conversation and reworking that if you feel like this is something that you should work on. And I'm going to catch myself out on my language there. I said, if you feel like, but you shouldn't feel like anything you'll feel like whatever, but in business, let's make sure that it's based on your data, right? It's not, I feel like sales isn't working for me. Like, let's go, how many sales calls did you have? How many did you convert? What's your conversion rate? Okay, super simple. Take the emotion out of it. I spoke recently on an episode, feeling lie data doesn't, and that is that same concept. Okay, so fixing that sales process is going to mean that the leads that come in, you are going to get more of them to convert. Okay. The fourth and final thing that I want to talk about today, in terms of if you think you need more leads, but maybe you don't, is if you haven't invited all of your current clients to renew or commit to some sort of consistency with you or upgrade with you, right? So if we have inconsistent clients, if we don't have clients re-signing and they're doing really short-term commitments, or if we're not inviting them to level up and go to the next level with us, then we need to fix our client journey. Now, this is one of our 9 pillars again inside the Biz Academy program is the client journey. So we map all of these systems out for you and work with you to create these specifically for your business. But when we look at our current clients, this is often the best source of increased revenue and profit for your business, right? We don't actually oftentimes need more clients or new or more leads. We actually often, the metric we're chasing is more top line revenue or realistically like bottom line profit. Okay. So the fact that you have to do no more marketing, it's like one conversation with a current client is going to mean that it's going to save you so much money to renew, to keep a client, or to upgrade a client, or to have them commit to a specific consistency or frequency or something like that with you, right? And you want to incentivize them to do this as well because you get to train someone long term and you build a great relationship with them, they get better results and they also are then going to want to refer more people to you as well. So if you haven't invited all of your current clients to renew, if they're on some sort of commitment to renew that. And typically I'd start those conversations at least 4, maybe 6 weeks out from the end, because people tend to decide what they're going to do at the end of some sort of commitment or program well in advance. Or commit them to some sort of consistency. Let's say they just come in whenever and you say, hey, I'm actually creating this like membership or this subscription. You can come in for massages once a month and we'll put you on a monthly subscription. So it's only actually $25 a week for you, but you get one massage a month included in that. And that means you have a guaranteed spot on the first Tuesday of every month or whatever it is for you, right? But that consistency is guaranteed income for you, guaranteed outcome for the client, and they get their guaranteed time slot locked in, and there's no one who's ever going to steal or take that away. And you can add bonuses and a ton in there. I'm not going to go through that today, but it's a really, really easy strategy that so many people overlook when it comes to increasing your revenue or your profit in your business. They go always to the new. They're like, oh, I need a new client or a new lead. But like your current clients, they often say that 80% of your revenue is going to come from 20% of your clients. So those 20% want to buy more from you more often, just more in general, more things and more other stuff that you have to offer because they already know, like, and trust you, and they'd prefer to get it from you than someone who they have to roll the dice with who they don't yet know or trust. Okay. The other thing I mentioned is an upgrade. Now, I know that oftentimes this is something that's left and forgotten about, especially in the health space, but how could you help serve someone more in a greater capacity? So PTs do this really well. Instead of doing 1 or 2 sessions a week, it's 3 sessions a week, right? It's an easy upgrade. But could you provide them additional things, whether it's, okay, you get a full home program plus a one-on-one session or plus a testing session or a sprint training analysis or plus I've seen people who've done like fitness retreats or plus community events or whatever it is for you, but some sort of upgrade or cross sell as well. So cross sell would be, let's say that you offer both exercise rehab and you offer massage, you would get them to do both services rather than just one. Okay. Your current clients are honestly the easiest place to start. So if you haven't looked here and you haven't asked all of them that question and invited them to work with you for longer, more consistently, or in an upgraded level capacity, then definitely do that first. Okay. In summary, before you jump next time to I need more leads, make sure that you first, number 1, have clarity on your metrics, how many more leads you need to get to your specific goal, because leads is not a goal. Leads is part of your process. Okay. Number 2, you need to have a clear marketing message. Make sure you're getting quality leads. Number 3 is make sure that your conversion rate for your sales is greater than 70%. Okay. And number 4 is make sure you've already invited all of your current clients to renew, to be more consistent, and to upgrade. Okay. Then if you've looked at all those things and you're like, I'm doing really well in all of those, then we can talk about lead generation strategies for sure. And there will be some people who fall into this category. I just find that there are more coaches than not who come to me and say, I need more leads, and they haven't looked at these 4 things. And I think that these 4 things are much easier to fix, or are going to get a higher ROI if we do them before we just throw time, money, effort, energy at more leads and just sort of shoving more things through the top of the funnel. Until next time, move swiftly.
Hey, coach, before you go, the reason I do this every single week and the reason we've been able to surpass 100 episodes is because of you. So thank you. We're on a mission towards never seeing another coach leave the industry because they didn't have the skills or the confidence to scale. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that before you forget. I read every single one of the comments and share as many as I can. So if you found this episode valuable, sharing it with a friend who might be able to benefit from hearing it would honestly mean so much to me. Until next time, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.